The resource is in excess of 1 billion tonnes, containing approximately 8 million ounces of gold and 3 million tonnes of copper. So it's a large undeveloped resource. It is relatively low grade, but it certainly has the benefits of scale and byproduct credits, which were the things that made Cadia very successful.
Hello, welcome to Assay TV. Today, I'm joined by Colin Moorhead, who is Executive Chairman and Managing Director of Xanadu, a Mongolia-focused copper, gold development and exploration company. Colin, fantastic to see you today. If we could maybe start things off, you joined the company, I think, in late 2019, very much brought in as a mine builder to move the Kharmagtai project forward. So tell us a little bit about your background and some of the projects you worked on.
Good morning, Leo, and thanks for having me. Yeah, sure. I had a long career with Newcrest Mining. I'm a geologist by training, and spent most of my younger life, when I had hair and a little less weight, in mining and exploration geology. I worked my way up through Newcrest and eventually became the Executive General Manager of Minerals, responsible for global exploration and resource development for Newcrest, which gave me good exposure to deposits around the world. On that journey, I also had a stint I was the first, the inaugural geology manager at Cadia Valley Operations, where we built the Cadia Ridgeway and eventually Cadia East mines. There's not many porphyries around the world I haven't seen or had a look at in one way, shape or form. Post Newcrest, I spent 3 years as the CEO of Medeka Copper Gold, based in Jakarta, and built the Tujuh Bukit oxide gold operation, which is the gold cap sitting on top of a large porphyry there. In 2019, I joined Xanadu as a non-executive chairman. I did manage to get up there before the world shut down with COVID, and what struck me there was a porphyry intrusive complex that had all the hallmarks of a Cadia style system, with areas of higher grade, and I felt what the project needed was some direction in terms of getting a resource out, doing a scoping study, demonstrating to the world that we had a viable and competitive project there, and then doing the hard work of attracting a funding partner to help move a project along, because we're a small cap company that's really got the tiger by the tail with a large project. So and that's always a bit of a corporate conundrum to solve. And I think we've been quite successful in achieving our technical and corporate goals since 2019.
So what's the status of the project right now? I mean, in terms of tell us about your resource and also where you're at in terms of scoping studies and pre-feasibility studies.
Sure. Well, Kharmagtai, as I said, is a big porphyry intrusive complex. It's a series of open pits or potential open pits. The resource is in excess of 1 billion tonnes, containing approximately 8 million ounces of gold and 3 million tonnes of copper. So it's a large undeveloped resource. It is relatively low grade, but it certainly has the benefits of scale and byproduct credits, which were the things that made Cadia very successful in my time. We've recently completed a scoping study on that project, and the outcome of that is a low technical risk, low ESG risk, vanilla truck shovel open pit mining operation. We have in excess of 600 million tonnes in the mining inventory. That's with a 15 million tonne per annum sulfide flotation gravity circuit, producing a high quality copper gold con. After the payback period of 3 or 4 years, we duplicate that process to 30 million tonnes, and we have a 30-year mine life at that throughput rate. The project produces up to 50,000 tonnes of copper per annum, and over 100,000 ounces of gold, and that gold credit really makes it a low cash cost producer and be cash positive from a very early stage. So it's at scoping study level. We needed funding to take it into pre-feasibility. Recently done we're in the process of doing a deal with Zijin Mining Corporation out of China. Zijin tick a lot of boxes as a strategic partner. They've become a significant copper producer in their own right, and they're very proud to tell me they've done more copper than Rio in the last few quarters. Across just about every province in China, but also they're in 13 or 14 different countries now, working in various jurisdictions. So they've got the operating and construction capability. We bring the exploration capability to the table. They've also got the balance sheet, obviously, and due to the geopolitical situation with Russia and what have you, Mongolian and Chinese strategies have aligned, and Mongolia is very much welcoming foreign direct investment from China. They tick a lot of boxes as a funding partner.
Fantastic. So when do you hope to have a sort of PFS out?
It'll be, to do it properly, it'll be a 12 to 18 month process. I think I'm hoping to finalise the agreement with Zijin this quarter, get all the necessary approvals next quarter. We already have FIRB approval. That's the Foreign Investment Review Board in Australia, have approved a deal. Get that approved next quarter and sort of hit the ground running in January. So 12 to 18 months from there, middle of 24, we should have it done. And then we have a very clear timeline of permitting and approvals to get this thing up to commercial production, and we're hoping that to be sort of the back end of 27. So I think one of the major advantages of this project is it's relatively low ESG risk. It's a sparsely populated flat part of Mongolia. The South Gobi has been sort of identified as a mining region by the Mongolian government, and they've put a lot of effort into infrastructure down there in terms of power, water, roads. And I'm a bloke that spent time trying to build big mining operations in Indonesia and Papua New Guinea, and they can become a major headache, those things. So having a railhead 15k from the mine site is an absolute blessing. Not having to build tailings dams and waste dumps hanging off the sides of mountains is a pretty big benefit. So it's inherently low risk in that regard, and the process for permits and approvals is fairly straightforward. So it's a low technical risk, low ESG risk thing, and I think that all adds up to relatively competitive capital intensity and a very competitive time to production.
Excellent. But you've also got some exploration opportunities in Mongolia. You've got another project, Red Mountain. Do you want to touch on that? And I mean, there's been some pretty interesting drilling on that so far.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's still plenty of potential at Kharmagtai too, but at Red Mountain, it's our second project, and we are working on generating a third and a fourth in the background. But at Red Mountain, it's a 100% owned project. It is a porphyry setting, but the porphyries are considered to be deeper, and we're looking there targeting specifically near surface, smaller, higher grade deposits such as epithermals and skarns. There's a lot of really good geochem, as you say, in trenches and drill holes there. It's also a former Turquoise Hill asset from way back. And at the moment we're trenching there to do the geochem to help us prioritise and target our drilling, and hopefully we'll be in the field in the spring drilling Red Mountain. Kharmagtai is more an OT type style thing. It remains completely open along strike and at depth. The thing that transformed OT arguably was a discovery of the Hugo South deposit at depth. And I think that's circa 300 million tonnes at 1%, and is the subject or the focus of the underground development there. We're wide open for that exploration model too, and my geos are very keen to drill some deeper holes at Kharmagtai, noting that our current PFS is entirely open pit, but we certainly have we are open at depth, and we've got some relatively high grades down there. So fingers crossed, we could have a win a small digestible sort of discovery at Red Mountain and a big one that creates a good problem at Kharmagtai. Absolutely.
And as Zijin, are they involved in the exploration side of things as well? As are they funding some of that?
Well, indirectly, the Zijin deal involved a placement to take them to 10% of the company at a preset price of 4 cents. That happened last quarter and gave us enough money in our jeans to do a bit of work there. The second part of that deal is they come up to 19.9%, which also goes in at the Listco level. And then $35 million US into Kharmagtai project itself. So the pre-feasibility and the exploration at Kharmagtai will be funded by that money. And at a corporate level, we'll have about $10 million to do exploration outside of that. So Jen are very keen. They're very keen for us to continue to explore.
Absolutely. Good to have a deep-pocketed friend helping you along the way. But thank you very much for joining us today there, Colin, and good luck with the project as it develops, and look forward to speaking with you very soon to hear more news.
Thanks very much, Leo. Very, very happy to tell the story.
Thanks, Colin.